Presence, where we go beyond surface solutions and dive into the roots of real well being. I'm your host, Saima, and tonight we are joined by our amazing guest, Patty Durell, master level trainer, physical therapist assistant, and founder of Rock Solid Fitness. With nearly 3 decades of experience, she's here to frame what strength really means, especially for women navigating midlife. And the spoiler alert, it's not just about lifting weights, it's about lifting your whole life. Patty, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Saima. It's great to be here with you.
You're warmly welcome, and I'm really looking forward to make this a meaningful experience for you. So, Patty, why do you think that midlife is such a important chapter for women when it comes to mental and physical health?
I think midlife is so important for women because of the changes that we go through in our midlife. We have, years of programming and years of maybe not feeling our best as we enter into midlife, as we're starting to lose our younger self, lose our energy if we're not taking care of ourselves, and almost lose our identity in a way. And so I think during our midlife, more than ever, we need to learn how to love ourselves, give ourselves grace, but also take charge of our health because so many changes that happen are outside of our control. While there are so many things that we have control over to improve our health and our mood, our longevity, our joy, our happiness.
Mm-hmm. That's really a powerful perspective, Patty. I mean, you've really highlighted how layered and meaningful the stage of life can be for women.
Yes, I think it is meaningful. I think we can step into our superpower, or we could be run over by some of the things that we go through. And I'd much rather do the former and step into a superpower.
Mm-hmm. So, can you share one common mindset block you've seen women carry at that stage?
I think there's it's hard for me to just put it on one, Saima. I think that, you know, as we think about strength training and women, many women have a lot of misconceptions around it. One of the biggest ones, and it's not just for women, but it's that they need to get in shape before they start to strength train or do resistance training, or their body isn't ready for it. And really, if you're starting and doing it properly and you just
Mm.
meet yourself where you are, like anything in life, you meet yourself where you are and you try to improve, then you're ready. You don't have to get ready for anything. And I also think that women think that they're going to get big and bulky. You know, as we enter middle age, our body goes through some changes. We tend to put on a little bit of weight around our midsection more than we had in the past. And we think that if we're going to start strength training, we're actually going to get bigger. But when we increase our muscle mass, we increase our metabolism and we are burning calories 24/7. And that, as we increase our muscle, that burn rate increases also. And unless you have that family genetics, or you're on some kind of unique hormone structure that will make your body build muscle more than the average person, getting bulky and bigger and putting weight on when you're strength training is not a side effect unless you're eating more. So I think those are some of the things that will hold women back, especially in middle age, from starting resistance training, Saima.
Hmm? Yes, that's such a persistent myth, Patty. Like, I love how you broke it down because, understanding the science behind it can really shift the way women approach strength and movement. And that makes so much sense. And I appreciate you naming that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we can hold ourselves back rather than push ourselves forward sometimes.
Absolutely. So now you talk about fitness as more than, just aesthetics. So how exactly does strength training influence mood, stress, and even sleep?
Yeah, there's so much research out there about how strength training increases our ability to sleep. Excuse me, Simon. You know, strength training helps people fall asleep faster and experience deeper sleep cycles. Regular exercise is going to lower the severity of things that we might find when we're in perimenopause and menopause, which are hot flashes and night sweats, which commonly cause insomnia. So, by reducing those sleep disturbances, you'll get better quality sleep. And we know that when we improve our sleep, our body's ability to recover or to repair increases so that we will have more energy. And there's a preponderance amount of research out there about how strength training affects mood. It's almost like having creating an internal pharmacy for us when we're strength training. We have a lot of neurotransmitters that are produced, and those neurotransmitters regulate our mood. They reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, such as like endorphins and serotonin and nor, norepinephrine and dopamine, to just mention a few. So yeah, I think we see it all the time at Rock Solid Fitness where people will come in and they're on anxiety medications or antidepressant medications. And over time, with regular exercise, and I'm going to add in here proper nutrition, trying to get good sleep, and managing stress. Like we find that people can get off of those medications and just have a better life. And when you strength train and you start to feel better, because honestly, the looking better is a side effect of the strength training, in my opinion. The internal things that happen, all of the things that I just mentioned, as well as decreasing your heart rate, improving your blood pressure, all the hormonal responses that happen that can help regulate our hormones. All of those things make you feel better. And then the side effect of looking better, well, that just boosts our confidence. And whenever we boost our confidence, we have a better, joyful, happier life. We have more
Mhm.
self-esteem with more confidence. So I think that strength training, resistance training, when done properly, is amazing. And to just carry that into too much training or too much stress um, creates an environment where you're overtraining or you're filling your stress bucket too much so that your body can't recover from that. So even though some things are good for us, if we do too much of it, it can become not so good for us. And that's the same for strength training. If you do too much stressful strength training or too much stressful, intense exercise, then you can put yourself into an overtraining category and have a problem sleeping, be more anxious, have less of an immune system, and so on.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Like, it's such a full circle effect that you really feel the difference in your body, and like when your body is rested and strong mentally and physically. And I love how you kept that so clear. When we sleep better, we live better, and strength training really does have that ripple effect.
It does. It absolutely does. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So it is something that you need to do for the rest of your life, which is why if you do it in a way where you're doing the least amount that your body requires to be in the best shape it can be in, it's more sustainable. And so that we can be in our 70s, 80s, 90s, and hopefully even in our hundreds still doing our resistance training, because a strong body is a healthier body. And when you're strong, you manage your life better. It decreases your risk for injuries and illness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That makes so much sense. Now, can you share some myths about exercise in midlife? You often find yourself bursting more often.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of myths about exercise in midlife. Some things that happen to us in midlife is we might be in, if you're a woman, you might be in perimenopause, or whether you're a man or a woman, you might find yourself with decreased bone density, osteopenia, or osteoporosis. And I think one of the biggest myths, especially in the medical community, unfortunately, is that you can't change or reverse your bone density with resistance training alone. And I know that to be 100% false through the scientific evidence and our own experiential evidence, over the past many, many years of helping people strength train. And my mom's example itself, you know, um, my mom was elderly. She was in her late 60s when she had a fall that happened because she had a fracture from osteoporosis. She didn't know she had osteoporosis, and she started strength training twice a week for 30 minutes. And, after 2 years, they retested her bone density, and this is without medication. And she had reversed her bone density to be normal. And the unfortunate part of her story is she had a hip injury, and her doctor told her not to strength train. And so she stopped strength training, and guess what happened? Her osteoporosis came back, and she wound up having three spine fractures and spine surgery from that. And then she went back to strength training and said, no matter what, I'm never going to stop because I see the benefit through my own experience. And I think that's another myth, is that if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, that you shouldn't strength train, you're going to fracture. So I think in general, the myths around strength training, I'm going to get bigger, I'm going to look like a man, I need to get in shape first. Those are all just things that aren't true. And we need to know that strength training is probably one of the things that I would consider to be closest thing to the fountain of youth that we can find, as far as a functional longevity perspective.
Mm-hmm. It's so empowering to hear this myths challenged with facts and experience, Patty. I mean, it really, opens the door for women to approach fitness directly and with more confidence. And I really love how you explain that. It's refreshing to hear the truth spoken so clearly, especially in a space that's so often clouded by misinformation.
Yeah, we are totally, Saima, in the information overload. I love having information at the access of my fingertips, and I love having AI. And at the same time, when we do research ourselves and we're looking up scientific information, and we get into Google or chat or AI, and we bring that to the table when we're having our coaches meeting at Rock Solid Fitness, we find that sometimes it's false when we apply it to what we scientifically know in anatomy and physiology and apply logic and reason to these things. And it's very scary that at our fingertips is all this information, but yet if you don't know any better, you could take something that is 100% not true and believe it because you just don't have a fact checker in you available. And so I caution us, as we go to Google or we go to the internet, we look up information, to make sure that we verify it, make sure that it makes sense to us. Ask people who are professionals in that industry. And the other thing is, it can be so frustrating because, like, let's just talk about nutrition for a moment. I can find 10 doctors that have written books and will say wholeheartedly and passionately, if you don't eat a vegan diet, you're going to be unhealthy. And I can find another 5 or 10 doctors that have written books and are experts and so passionately we say, if you don't eat all beef and butter, you're going to be unhealthy. So what's true? How do we know as people, that just without that knowledge, what is true? And it's very difficult to find information, um and have it be valid. I think that the message here is to take the information, really analyze it, and apply it to your life if it makes sense for you. If it doesn't make sense for you, then don't apply it.
That completely makes sense. And that's such a crucial piece of information.
Yeah, it's very confusing, as you say.
Mhm. Yes. Now, let's talk about time. Like, many women juggle careers, caregiving, and so much more. So, what does efficient fitness look like in your world?
Oh, that's all we do. That's what we do, is efficient, effective strength training. In our world, and I've said this several times, I think most of us ask, how much can my calendar and body tolerate when it comes to exercise? And we think we need to do yoga for flexibility and running for cardiovascular and all these different things to have a complete fitness regime. And really, what it comes down to is rather than asking yourself, how much can I tolerate? Ask yourself, how little do I require to be in the best shape that I can be in? And so the evidence here is also overwhelming, the scientific evidence of what is required to be gaining muscular strength and increasing your functional abilities. And it's not a lot. It's 25 minutes twice a week, but it's proper strength training. It's maximum effort strength training. It's doing it in a safe fashion so that the risk is always worth the reward. We always say if the risk is not worth the reward, we're just not going to do it. We'll find a different way to do it. So if you wanted, cater to that busy person, and I think women who work and have families are the busiest people on the planet, juggling careers, juggling family, social calendars, juggling the care and keep up of the house and the humans that are in it. Find a routine that you can stick with as little as possible. So encourage your family to get out and move with you every day for at least 30 minutes. That's going to instill healthy habits in them. And then be the example where you go to the gym and you work out with hopefully a professional who can guide you through some safe, efficient strength training. Do full body workouts. You train your body as a unit so you can rest it as a unit. It just makes a lot of sense. And when you're using maximum effort, you really only need to do one set of an exercise per body part. There's no sense in killing your body parts with more and more sets and reps. It just wears your joints out. And we want to keep our joints for as long as we can. So less wear and tear, maximum effort, maximum results.
Mm. That really challenges the old mindset of, more is better, Patty. And I really appreciate how you're reframing fitness as something adaptable and sustainable at the same time.
Yes, I say the only thing of more is better is love. Some people say it's love and money, but I say the only more is better is love. It's not
Mm-hmm.
usually anything else in our life that more is better. Maybe joy, happiness, love, those kinds of things.
Yeah, beautifully said, Patty. Beautifully said. Now, can transformation really happen in shorter or targeted sessions?
I can just say I see it all the time. I have been strength training this way since 1992. That's a long time. It's 2025 right now, and I am in great shape. There's not a thing that I feel like I can't do. My body's always ready for me whenever I need it. And what I find is I hire coaches that are straight out of college typically, and typically they're in exercise science programs. Many of them have experienced scientific research in their labs at the college, and they have been working out for 6 days at a time, an hour and a half. Well, when they come to Rock Solid Fitness to work for me, they need to fall in love with what we do before I hire them. So they need to understand that they are also going to be working out for 25 minutes twice a week with a coach. And the thing that I find over the past 14 years in hiring people like that is they come to me with aches and pains at a very young age. Body is beaten up from what they've been doing to it their young life, and they get plugged into the system, and all of a sudden their aches and pains go away. They start to build more muscular strength and size. Their endurance improves. So absolutely, I mean 1000% believe that less is best when done properly, and I experience
Mhm.
that with everybody that comes into our studio. They don't believe that it's possible until they get plugged in and they start doing it and they see and feel the changes, and then they're believers. And less is best when it comes to proper strength training. It's we only get one joint per or one body part per joint, I should say. And we don't want to change those parts out. It's a lot easier to change tires on a car from wear and tear than it is to change a shoulder or a knee or an elbow or a back or an ankle.
Yes, the idea of less but better might just be the liberating shift many listeners need to hear.
I give everyone permission to not not have to be in the gym for
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 days a week for an hour and a half at a time. You get permission to do less. I think we feel guilty when we're not doing more when it comes to those things, but I think giving yourself permission and then experiencing the benefits is the best ever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I'm really curious to know from you, Patty, that what role does self-talk play in someone's fitness journey, especially when facing age or body image struggles?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sure. So what role does self-talk play in someone's fitness journey, especially when facing age or body image struggles?
Self-talk. Yes, I call that's either the voice that builds us up or the voice that tears us down. Is that right?
Yes, it means, the internal dialogue or the thoughts you have with yourself throughout the day.
I do. I have sometimes called those thoughts in my head my itty bitty shitty committee. They can come
Mm-hmm.
in, they can have all kinds of limiting beliefs and beat me up about things that I'm not doing. And I say you need to put that self talk to rest. Learn how to wrestle those little parts of us that show up in our head and quiet them. I am a positive intelligence coach that deals with those parts, and I think that that is one of the most important things we can do is to understand that we put those thoughts in our head and we have the ability to change those thoughts with very simple techniques. So, physical fitness is extremely important, but mental fitness is also extremely important. And so, if you are not going to the gym and practicing strength training, you're not going to continue to improve or even maintain what you have. It's the same with your mental fitness. If you're allowing that talk to happen in your head, it's attaching to your soul and it is making you become more of that. It is attracting more of that. But if you can change that self talk to be full of generosity and grace and love and acceptance and understand that you are a perfectly imperfect human being like everyone else on the planet and do your best with what you have and I think that allows us the freedom to open our hearts up and be more loving towards ourselves. So yeah, I think that I have this argument with friends all the time. What's more important, mental strength or physical strength? And it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I think that they're both extremely important. I think that we wait sometimes for motivation to show up, and I think it's the mental talk of and the discipline of just making you do something that you know is going to change your future in a positive way, and then doing it. And once you start to feel the benefits of that, then you're more motivated to continue. And having mind control and controlling your thoughts in a positive way is only helping yourself be a better, loving human.
Hmm. I love the way you put that, Patty. It's such a grounded and compassionate perspective, I must say, that reminding us that we are not just walking on our bodies, but our minds too. And the way you speak about self talk, it's so empowering and relatable. Thank you for bringing that truth forward.
Thank you for thinking it's great. These are just
so,
things I've learned along my own journey. I certainly didn't invent any of this.
yeah, but you have said that beautifully, and that was really, a wonderful reminder.
It's been such a pleasure to be here with you. And I just want to say that resilience is built from practicing physical and mental strength, and it gives us more resilience to bounce back from the challenges in life.
Warmly welcome. Now, so strength isn't just a physical attribute, it's a state of being. And as Patty reminds us, it's never too late to reclaim it. So if you're a woman in midlife, know this. Your strongest, healthiest, most grounded self might still be ahead of you. So let fitness become your gateway, not your goal. Until next time, honor your pace, protect your energy, and build from the inside.